Hello, welcome to another ChurchCo tutorial. So after you set up your logo and your dashboard, you'll come back here and let's go ahead and try to edit our home page. We want to swap out the stock image in the header and change some of the text, and then we'll talk about changing some of the image block items. So we're going to go ahead and follow this launch step wizard, and we're going to say edit home page. And it's going to launch us into the visual editor, which is going to show the editing panel on the left side where you can add all of your blocks and your website on the right side. So if you remember our first tutorial about how to change your logo, you'll see our new logo. And now we want to swap out and we want to change this image here for one of our own. So this is really easy. We're just going to go into the page header. This is all the content up above the fold, if you will. That's the content you see on the top of the screen. And here's all the text and information. So let's first just concentrate on removing this image. So we're going to hit this X button to remove the image that's there. And we're going to say add new. And we're going to drag and drop an image here. Or you could also look in the media library and you see we've preloaded stock images and you see our logo that we already uploaded in the other tutorials. So for right now, let's talk about dragging and dropping. So I got an image saved in my desktop, and I'm just going to drag that in here and let go, and it's going to load. And once it's there, just make sure you hit this blue select button. This is an important step. If you don't do that and you click out of here and click save, your image will disappear completely. So we're going to hit select. There's our image. And I would recommend for any homepage or page header to check this box that says Darken Image. What's that's going to do is that's going to put just a slight overlay on top of the image to darken it a little bit so your text stands out on top of the image background much better. So we're going to click save, and we're going to let that load, and we're going to see what the new image looks like. And there you go. You see I chose a kind of a blurred out image so for this tutorial, just to kind of save some of the anonymity of people for our church. So let's click view and see what this looks like blown up a little bit better. There you go. Welcome home, your site name, and a short description. But we got that new image. Now we got this custom one. And as you start to scroll down through the page, we'll talk about editing some of this other content. So we want to swap out some of these images for some of our own. So we're going to go back into the editor, and we're going to click edit. And it's going to launch the visual editor again. And let's change some of this content. Let's say welcome home. Let's say your journey starts here. And we're going to say at Midwest Church. We're going to say let's experience, if I can type right, love of Jesus together. And we're just going to hit save. And now we've started to customize this site a little bit more to our own church. So your journey starts here at Midwest Church. Let's experience the love of Jesus together. So by default, we got a plan, a visit, and contact button. Those are done here in the page header again too, in this other tab called buttons. So here you can change the text. And right now it's linked to the service time, so you can get directions, watch online. Here's the join us this weekend information. So all these are going to be available to go to a URL or a page. So we're just going to leave all this information here for now. And when you see this says hashtag or #times, and it's set to URL, what that means is when you click on this, it's going to jump down the page to that section. So I just want to show you real quick what that means. So maybe you want to swap this out to go somewhere else. So if you go down to all of these blocks are labeled, so basic block is this first thing. So just follow along all of these blocks and from the page header, and that's how you can kind of orient yourself through the page. So we're looking at page header, basic block, which is this content of a header, text, and a button, and then service times block. So here you can see the service, join us this weekend. Here's some information, and we're looking at this blue section right here. And if you go to settings, see the row ID. The row ID is kind of like a label, and we've called it times. And if we go back to our button up here, it says button, URL, instead of a page, which is a link, and then hashtag times. So here is that row ID. So now whenever you click that button, it's going to jump directly down to that spot. So that's just a quick hyperlink trick. So now that we've fixed the header, the content, we're okay with our buttons for now. Let's go into the service times block. And we're going to say, we'll change this. We'll say come to a service. And again, this is just to get an idea of all the content you can change. So, so we meet every Sunday in person and online. Okay, the directions right now, it's just blank. And what you could do is you can link your Google Map directions, and you can check that to say new tab. So when somebody clicks on it, it can go to a new tab. So this is, again, this is the section we're editing right now. Button text, watch online. So here, this is linked to a page. So if they click on watch online, it's going to go to a page that we've already got created for you. So let's just say we're okay with that, and let's adjust the service times. So maybe we only meet on Sundays. So I'm going to get rid of this midweek meeting. I'm going to remove that. And let's say on Sunday morning, we only meet at 9 o'clock. We're going to say we are a small Midwest church. So Sunday morning, 9 a.m. at the main location. And we're going to go ahead and click save. Anytime you make edits, make sure you click the save button so all of those changes take effect. And it's going to load again. And here we go. Our service time block is now tailored to our our church. Come to service every Sunday, get directions, watch online. Sunday morning, we only meet at 9 a.m. So now let's say, hey, let's do some images. We want to change some of these out to be some of our own. So we'll show you how to do one of those here, and then we'll cover some more of the block options in some other shorter tutorials. So let's say image block. So the images are all of these blocks right here. So you got content block, and because it's set to blocks right here in the option image type, it's going to create that zigzag pattern, which is a great experience for people to follow along your page. So let's just leave the content, the text and the title and the text and the buttons. Let's just work on swapping out these images. So I have my own image that I want to put in for watch online. So I'm going to remove that just like we did for the header. I'm going to say add an image. And I'm going to find my image. And I have a watch online image right here that I've created. I'm going to drop that in. Make sure it's checked. And I'm going to say select. I'm good. I'm happy with that. And now I'm going to click save. And here we go. Now I got my own image in there now. So we're starting to customize this home page to fit our church. But now let's say, hey, we have an online this weekend, upcoming events. Let's add one more image block. And we're going to say image block. So we're in block number 3 here. So just to follow along, page header, which is up at the top. The next section is basic block, simple intro, service times. And now we're in the image block. I'm going to go to images. And we're going to scroll down here because I want it to be at the end. So I can remove an image at any time, or I can say a new image right here. If I want to squeeze one right in between here, I can hit this +1 and it'll go in between these two images. But let's say we want to drop one just at the end. I'm going to go new image, add an image, and I'm going to grab this one I called connect, and I'm going to direct people to a page that we're going to create called connect. So we say select. I'm going to say connect in a group. And we're going to say we have lots of groups to join. You can write more compelling copy for sure. Button text, we're going to say join now. Link it to a page. And when you create a page, all of your pages are going to be found. So we have about, blog, church online, events, give, home, kids, sermon, youth. So I don't have one right now created for groups. So for now, we're just going to link it to the about page. but when you create a new page, any page, it'll show up here. You just search for it and you'll find it. You click it and then that button will link to it. So let's go ahead and just save this just to see what we have now. So we should have 3 images. So we got our header with our own image and content, updated service time, and now we got join online, upcoming events, and connect in a group, join now. And when you click on that, it'll link to that page. So these are just some of the initial edits you can start to make on the home page. Let's just do one more here. We can update this quote block. So this is the quote and this is the source. So let's just say a journey better together. And let's say, well, we don't want to have a source. This is just our church kind of mission phrase. And let's change this background color. So a background for a row is under settings. And the background you can set to light, which is a light color, dark, which is going to be the light gray color by default. Brand color, we'll talk about how to set these colors in a different tutorial. We're going to set it to image. And we're going to remove this image and we're going to add one. And I'm going to find another image that I created. We're going to say, people use this one, students. I've blurred this out a little bit to make it a little bit harder to see, just to kind of protect some people. So I used a wide one here, so 2500 by 1000 pixels. Instead of a square image, let's use a wide landscape view. I'm going to hit select. And again, I want to keep this box checked that says Darken Image. It's set to scroll, so scroll offers that parallax background where the image is fixed in the back and then the content scrolls over top of it. So we're going to leave it set to that. That's a cool effect, and we're going to click save. And now let's see how our church homepage is starting to look. All right, so we got our header, our service times. We got a couple new images in there and a new image block. And there we go, a journey better together. And again, this is just a nice way to add some visual style to the background for your text to kind of help create a good user experience. And then we have our bottom, connect with us. So here's our social media stuff. And let's say, you know what? Hey, we want to update this icon block. So connect with us, follow us on social media. Those are set up as icons. So icons, you can change these out. So let's say we have Facebook and we do have Instagram, but maybe we don't have YouTube, or maybe we do. Let's add Spotify. Maybe we have Spotify. You can start searching in your Spotify circled. And we don't need a title. And we don't need any content. We just want the icon and we want the button. I'm going to say Spotify. We're going to say URL again. So right now, anytime I'm just going to put a placeholder here because I'm not going to paste an actual link. But what you do is you would just paste in your Spotify channel URL right here and check the new tab. Anytime you have a URL that's going to go out of your website, like to some other platform like Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, it's a good idea just to check that tab so it launches a new tab in your user's browser so they can come back to your website. You want to try to keep people on your website as much as possible or make it easy to get back. So we're going to say Spotify, new tab URL. You can add your own custom URL. And we're going to click save. And now we've customized our social media information now. Scroll down here. And there we go. We got Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Okay, so now as we keep going, we see we got give online, we got contact, and then we have our footers. So let's just say, hey, we want to make one more adjustment. Let's say, you know what? I don't like the events here. I want it to go before the quote. I want the quote to move up higher. So that's really easy to do with our block editor. If you come down here, we have this quote block. So that's block, quote block. And we want it above the events one. You see the cursor changes to a little cross icon there. Drag to reorder. If I just click and hold and drag, I've changed the order now of this. And let's just hit save, and we'll see that change. So you can reorder all of your blocks any way you want, and it's just all done and easy and simple to move around. So let's just scroll down, and there we go. Now I got that there and have my quote block following my kind of connect options, and then we have the events, and that's it. And you know what? Let's say, hey, I don't have any events right now. See, this just says sample event. I'm not ready to display our events. Maybe you're just launching your church site. You haven't started to populate your website with events yet. Well, that's easy. You could either delete the block, so we can remove it, or let's just say, hey, you know, I do want an event block. I'm going to go and grab it. So that's how you add a new block. So new block, new page builder block. Or you could launch this plus icon and you just scroll through the list of all of our block options. We'll cover all these in other tutorials. And let's say I want an event list. And we'll just say upcoming events. And then we can filter all events or specific categories. You can sync it from Planning Center. We're just going to leave it all events for now. We want it to be a feed. So a feed is what gives us these little cards, which is a really nice experience. Let's say on our homepage, we're only going to want to feature 3 events. And when there's no events, you can say, you know, nothing right now. Check back later. Maybe there's a time when you don't have any specific events coming up. And let's move this back up to, you know what, I liked it before when it was above the quote block. But let's say, hey, you know what, we're still not ready to publish it, but I don't want to delete it. I want it to stay there when we're ready. So if you open this up and you go to settings, you can say row status unpublished. And I'm going to click save. And what that's going to do is that's going to hide that on your live page, but it's going to stay in your builder for you to come back and publish at any point. So if I scroll down here, there's my basic intro, service times, there's my image blocks. And look, the events section is gone. And right here it shows up where it's kind of transparent. That shows that it's unpublished. Let's say we're ready. We're ready to publish it. Just change that status. Change it to published. Click save. And here we go. So our page is starting to kind of come together. So let's just make one more slight adjustment and then we'll be happy with our home page. So let's say our contact us form on the bottom. Let's say we don't like this color. We don't like it light. We want it to be more like our blue brand color right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the forms block. We're going to go into settings. And we're going to change this background from not light, not dark, but we're going to change it to brand color. We're going to click save. And now that's going to change the color of that background. And there it is. And you can change these in and out as much as you want. And the great thing, and we'll talk about the design and themes and customizing your fonts and colors. When you start changing your colors, all of that will happen automatically. So if we change this blue color to some different shade of blue or maybe a green or something different, it will automatically switch to that color. So that's the basic kind of walkthrough of editing your homepage content. Again, you can click view to go view the page. And yeah, this is looking much more like it's our own church now. We're getting rid of those stock photos. We'll swap out our other photos, maybe just remove it altogether. We'll start adding some events. But that's the basic walkthrough of editing your homepage when you first launch your ChurchCo website. So we're going to have other tutorials to walk through some of the block builder options and talk about some tips and tricks for a good page design. So thanks for watching.